AFTV James, how good was that today? That was a performance that every Arsenal fan could be proud of. That was the second goal today. I know you'll be drooling over that when you're doing your analysis of it.
I will be. Robbie, that was special. That second goal, the performance was very good. I tweeted at halftime that it's something Mo says a lot. We don't have more than 45 minutes of good football in us, even when we do have a good game. And today we did. I thought there was an iffy spell for 10 minutes of the second half. I think West Brom were trying to see, or maybe we were trying to feel out what West Brom would bring back in the second. But we very quickly just found our rhythm again and scored some lovely goals. I just thought that, I mean, the first goal. Sorry, not the first goal, the second goal. Do you know what? We scored so many goals. I'm forgetting.
Not used to this.
Yeah, I'm not used to this. No, but our first goal, Kieran Tierney, and he deserved that because he's been, I wouldn't say quietly, going about his work. I think a lot of people have noticed how brilliant he's been, but that's a real standout moment for him. And I thought he was terrific. And then obviously Smith Rowe, you have a 10 in the team, and it just, it's that pass into Saka, that first one, isn't it? That breaks the lines. And I was so impressed. I was honestly so happy with what I saw tonight.
As somebody described him earlier, the Croydon De Bruyne. And it was another very impressive and standout performance by him. But even somebody like a Lacazette as well. Great performance by him today as well.
I don't know if you score that second goal without, I'm talking within our squad here, without it being Lacazette who's playing up front, because his strength and his tenacity and his awareness of players around him. And by the way, even when he's in bad form, he's still got all that. It just doesn't necessarily come off for him. But in the last couple of games, it has. It's, he scored in that 4-1 defeat against City, which is kind of easy to forget sometimes because he actually played quite well that day. But he's kept it going. I'm so happy for him because even those who were criticizing Lacazette, I think everyone knew there was a player in him. I don't think anyone ever said he was never a good player. But he's finding form again. He was crucial today to everything we did well. And I think a big part of that as well is, how do I put it? I think the fact that we don't just play to the left and we're not predictable anymore means that we can now get more out of a player like Lacazette. When he's holding up the ball, he's comfortable going left or right or back to the midfield or forward, whatever he's got to do, because you've got a runner like Smith Rowe who actually will get in behind, or you've got a Saka who will come close or also offer that run in beyond. So, I do think that was crucial. 2 of our 4 goals came from the right today. Thought Bukayo Saka was, brilliant again. And we've got a lovely balance now where, even if we are playing a lot of our football down the left, the opposition are thinking, well, we might be worrying about what they're doing here with Tierney and Aubameyang. But if it switches, it's going to the pace of Bellerin and Bukayo Saka, who causes all sorts of problems. So, fluid football. I mean, look, still a long way for this team to go, for sure. But that was really impressive, I've got to say.
There's got to be some nervous footballers in that team. Pepe's got to be nervous. Willian, David Luiz, because another good performance by Mari, even Gabriel. I mean, may not be, we all say he's walked straight back in as soon as his COVID isolation is over. I'm not sure at the moment. Pablo Mari's looked solid as well.
No, Gabriel does not walk back into that team. That's not a reflection of what I think of him. I think Gabriel's superb. I just think Mari's been brilliant. I don't like to put Luiz in the same bracket as Willian and Pepe because I actually think he's had a good season. I think when he's played, he's actually done well. But Pepe and Willian, I mean, Bukayo Saka's, I'm not going to beat around the bush. He's absolutely put them to shame. They should be ashamed of their performances when you look at what Bukayo Saka's doing out there. And, he's done it over a couple of games now, from the Chelsea game to the Brighton to this one. And you look at the amount of chances Pepe and Willian have had. So, yeah, you're right. And they should be absolutely worried. The way Smith Rowe's playing, I'm not sure Ozil's being called back into the squad in Jan, even if we do offload players. But I don't think that was ever going to happen anyway. So, I think there's absolutely some nervous players in that squad. And there should be, because the youngsters are absolutely putting them to shame and leading this club through the toughest period it's seen in probably 20, 30 years.
It's true. Young players having to lead us out of it. Do you think, obviously, we're in a January transfer window now. the main position that everybody's been speaking about that we definitely need is that number 10 position. Do we hold off now that Smith Rowe's been playing so well, or do you still think that we need to go out there and still strengthen in that area?
Got to strengthen. Said this in the build-up show as one of the last things Cecil and I brought up, actually. Because basically, the reason I brought it up is I saw Rob Holding was being offered a new contract potentially. And I said, I've got nothing against Rob Holding. I like it. But, he's a decent player and he's looked very good the last couple of games. But what I don't want us to do is sort of get caught up in, we've had a decent run. And decent, let's not get ahead of ourselves. A decent run. It's only 3 games and it did include Brighton and West Brom. And suddenly start making rash decisions because we think we found all the answers. We haven't. Smith Rowe can't be expected to play what's left. 20 games left of the season, a bit more. He can't be expected to play all 20 games. Nor can Saka. You've got to be able to, even if you bring in let's say Isco, who can play in the 10 and on the left. Well, that's great because what that means is you can rest a Smith Rowe. You can then rest a Saka. You don't have to, push Martinelli through his recovery during, after his knee injury and stuff. So I think we absolutely have to strengthen. It doesn't change anything. And I hope Arteta and Edu and whoever's making these decisions knows that as good as things have looked in the last week, it's only been a week, how quickly things change, eh? That they're not sitting there thinking, well, actually, you know what? This can wait till summer, or this number 10 we really want for 40 million. Well, we can wait till June. No. Please, whoever's making those decisions, don't do that because you're putting too much pressure on the youngsters.
Stunt the growth of a Smith Rowe, though. If you went out and you bought a number 10 for 40 million, he's playing, isn't he? I mean, we've even seen that with Willian. A player that's on a big wage and a big name it's almost assumed like they're playing.
Yeah, but I don't think it has to stunt their growth. I mean, I think you could flip that and say, if you brought in I was going to say Buendia, but I know everyone's going to be, you're going to keep looking at me with that. No, but let's say you brought in a Buendia who can play on the wing as well as in the middle, or an Isco or someone like that. I don't see why that needs to stunt Smith Rowe's growth because Smith Rowe can keep his position in the middle and you play this other creator out wide, or Smith Rowe gets some game time, some development out wide. He played on the left of the under-23s a lot. So we get to see a different side to him as well. So I don't think it has to be to the detriment of the youngsters whatsoever. Don't forget, we've got the FA Cup coming up. We've got the Europa League knockout rounds. It's all well and good now when you've got a run of Premier League games coming, but there'll be a time to rotate. And I think, the youngsters will benefit from that. I'm really glad Martinelli didn't play today. I love him, but I'm really glad we got through 90 minutes without needing him because he can be really important. And the last thing we need to do is push him or push any of the youngsters. So, no, I don't think it'll stunt the development of any players. Or I shouldn't think it should anyway.
All right. Well, James, thanks very much, mate. I'm sure you'll be back in the morning giving a big rundown on how it all went. But no, it's fantastic.
No worries, mate. Thanks.
Cheers.